Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hope everyone is doing well. Oh my goody, goody, goody. I see the comments. Yes, that was some beautiful music by the one and only Stephen McLean Rogers. I'm loving this new format that we're trying out with some live music in the beginning. For those of you who don't know who I am Anton May. I will be your host for this evening for the Freefalling Monthly. This is the March. It is March. See, I'm losing track of time. It is the March edition 2021 of the Freefalling Monthly. We can celebrate that. We've been going, y'all. So again, before we get started, I'm pretty sure that there's some new faces in the room on the stream. And you're probably wondering, what is the Freefalling Monthly? Well, I guess how I could describe it in my unique way is yes, applause, applause. I live for the applause, throwback. Yes, the Freefalling Monthly, I guess, to me as an artist who has participated a few times, it's a space and a place for artists of all genres, be it spoken word or filmmakers or poems is spoken word, or actors or dancers, musicians. It's a place for artists to try new things and experiment with pieces that they may already have or new pieces that they're creating and present it to an audience hey yo, woot woot. Josh, one of our artists tonight, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, it's a space to allow free creation and have that final product be presented in front of an audience, sometimes for feedback, sometimes just, as a release of, yes, I just released this art into the world and it's been viewed and I'm satisfied. But that's more or less how I see it. And of course, in the beginning, back when we were in the freestanding room, it was a way for artists to present work and have feedback. But now we digital 2021. So, some of the old is still there, but there's a lot of new. Okay. So some of you might be tuning in on YouTube or Facebook. We do have a YouTube account. So if you are on YouTube, I want you to go ahead and click that subscribe button. I've always wanted to say that. Click that subscribe button. Give us a like. We appreciate the likes and the subscribes. So that way, and I don't know if we have that bell option, but you can click the bell so you know when we post new things. If you're on Facebook, you could go ahead and like the Facebook page, the Freefalling Monthly. You can also follow. We love to have followers. We like to welcome new people into our family. So go ahead and do that while I'm chit-chatting. Yes, the more likes, the merrier. So, yes, I'm super excited to get this show on the road. We have some new faces, some old faces, but mostly new work, because that's what we're all about. We're going to have some pieces, but we are going to have a piece by, I'm just going to say who to expect tonight. We have Jeroen Lindeman, we have Monica Hamburg, we have Josh Johnston, and of course we have moi. I'm back again because I'm trying to set an example to y'all followers that anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. Anyone could participate in the Freefalling Monthly. Even the host can participate. We don't discriminate unless it's hate. Then you can go ahead and pack your bag, never come back. We don't have hate here. So, you know what? I feel like I've spoken enough. Let's get into the show, shall we? Let's get into it. So first up, y'all, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We have Jeroen Lindeman, pronouns he, him. We will be presenting his piece called Feno. It's an experiment in plastic physiognomy. Now, I had to I had to Google this word because y'all know, if y'all know me by now, big words are not my friend and complicated names are not my friend. So I had to Google physiognomy so I made sure I pronounced it correctly. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into phenon. Pheno. My gosh, I really messed up. Let's get into it. Bow bow.
I was thinking of hearts, and all of a sudden I saw... I was thinking masks. I'm a clown. I was thinking of hearts, and all of a sudden I saw... I was thinking masks. My clown. And it feels it's a very clear mask. The hearts are gone. Mask. I was thinking of hearts, and all of a sudden I saw... I was thinking masks. I'm a clown. I was thinking of hearts, and all of a sudden I saw... I was thinking masks. My clown. And it feels it's a very clear mask. And the hearts are gone. Masks. I was thinking of hearts, and all of a sudden I saw... I was thinking masks. I'm a clown. I was thinking of hearts, and all of a sudden I saw... I was thinking masks. Clowns. My clown. And it feels it's a very clear mask. And the hearts are gone. Masks. Yeah, the clown's taking over. That's funny. That is funny. I was feeling heavy. I was feeling... I was thinking of hearts, and all of a sudden I saw... I was thinking masks. I'm a clown. I was thinking of hearts, and all of a sudden I saw... I was thinking masks. Clowns. My clown. And it feels it's a very clear mask. And oh yeah, the hearts are gone. Masks. 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 Who's inside? It's me inside.
That was Fenno by Jeroen Lindeman. Oh my gosh. At first I was like super creeped out. I was like, okay, we got some clay here already triggered. And I was like, dang, cool. Love that. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Okay, sorry. I can go on for hours, but we're gonna save that for the after show, because you know what we do here at the Freefalling. We have a little discussion at the end, a little Q&A, but we're gonna change it up. We're gonna change it up a little bit. So we tonight are gonna try a little round table. Now, the round table, we're just changing the format of the Q&A. We're going to talk amongst the artists about our pieces, give you some insight onto, how we kind of, our processes and whatnot. So please do stick around after the show. If you can, if you're interested in hearing from the artist's perspective about their work, please stick around. It's going to happen after the credits. There will be credits. You're going to see the names coming down or up. I don't know how they go. And then it'll be the round table. So please do stick around for that if you're interested in picking the artist's brain. And also, if you do have questions that you would like to ask or comments, feel free to comment in the comment section, and we will touch those comments and share them with the artists. So I think we should move on, shall we? Move on? Yes, let's move on. So our next piece will be from this woman, the one and only Monica Hamburg. Okay, pronouns he, her, she, her. Sorry, I'm like tongue twisted because I'm so excited because she's a veteran for the Freefalling. I feel like she's done every single one. I feel like she's been in every single Freefalling. So tonight we'll be seeing Ella Email. So you'll be hearing some voices from bloody hell names. Jason McCullough. Jason, if you're tuning in, I apologize if I massacred your name. So you'll be hearing voices from Jason McCullough, Peter J. Radomski, and also Monica herself. Ella Email. Would you like suggestions? Without further ado, let's get into the piece.
I see you have a new email. Would you like some help composing a reply? I can provide suggestions.
Hi, Jeff. I'm still trying to locate the client's assets. I checked with both Carol and Paul, but they didn't know.
Right. Ask Carol.
Ask Carol.
That's what Yes, as per the I did.
Now, play detective.
And what did she say?
She said she didn't know.
And Paul?
As per the... He also didn't know.
They told you they didn't know?
Correct.
Get to the bottom of this.
Why did they say that?
I'm not sure. They may have looked for it and couldn't locate.
Wait. Don't respond yet. You don't want to look like you have nothing else on the go.
Given that, how should we proceed? Do we want to ask the client if they can resend the assets?
Now, let's get other people involved.
I've sent Carol and Paul an email to see if they've located it.
No, I already...
Don't have it, as I told him.
That's what I
thought we clarified neither of us had it. Was there some misunderstanding?
Hi, Carol and Paul. Dan and I were wondering if you had located the assets for Yellerin. Jeffrey. Okay, they don't have it. Good to be sure.
All wrapped up. Stay engaged. Ask a question.
That reminds me. Did you ever hear back from the new clients, Androscope?
No, I'll send a follow-up.
Great.
About the Yellerin assets, do we want to ask the client if they can resend?
Now? This may have to wait.
It's end of day. I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Are you replying? Don't be shy about giving it some more contemplation.
Following up about the Yellerin situation, let's touch base midweek about a plan of action.
Can't we just ask? Okay.
Would you have time today for a meeting about Yellerin? Let's say afternoon.
What? Oh my God. 1 p.m.
I can do between 3 and 5. Would that work?
Okay.
Such a productive week. And it's only Wednesday.
Calendar invite. March 31st. Meeting agenda. Yellerin assets. Look at new internal communication tools.
Wow, this is the 5th client you've sent us this week.
Pretty impressive.
Honey, I can't wait to retire.
Thank you, Monica. Loved it. Ooh. Again, I just want to remind you, in case I rambled on too much before, that the Q&A is now a roundtable discussion that will happen after the credits. So please, 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 if you would like to stick around and listen to the artists talk about their work, please, please, please stick around. It's after the credits. Can't miss it. The credits will come and then it will be the roundtable discussion. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of my spiel, anyone can do the Freefalling Monthly. If you have a piece that you've been keeping on the back burner, waiting for COVID to be over so you could present it, why wait? Sign up for April and present your work here. Give it a little test drive in the Freefalling Monthly. You can sign up for April right now, or after the show, or tomorrow. But I encourage you to sign up. Yes, it can be as simple as you sitting and looking into the camera for 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be crazy. Okay? We wanna eat up that art. Eat up and feed the inner artist in all of us. So please, please, please sign up. Yes, honey. Henny, it is a paid performance opportunity. We got the coins here. Now, we ain't talking thousands. This ain't no movie deal. But we got coins, a little pocket change, you know. You can get McDonald's for a month with the money that we're going to give you, okay? So please sign up. I would love, love, love to see your work and talk about it and praise it. So please sign up for April. You don't want to have that FOMO, that fear of missing out. Sign up. Test drive your work or challenge yourself to something new. Hey, I might sign up next month. I won't, but I might. So let's move on, shall we? Move on to the next piece. So coming up next, we have Josh Johnston, pronouns he, him, with his piece entitled Red Pool. Now, you'll hear some, I don't know, is it hearing or seeing? Anyway, it'll be featuring TV on the Radio, Phoebe Bridgers, I hope I pronounced your name right, and other families. Red Pool, a waist-deep swim through the stages of toxic love from two perspectives. Here we go. Red Pool. Let's get into it.
Say, my playmate, won't you lay hands on me? Mirror my malady, transfer my tragedy. Got a curse I cannot lift, shines when the sunset shifts, and the moon is round and full. Gotta bust that box, gotta gut that bitch. Heart's aflame, my body's changed, and God, I like it. My mind has changed, my body's frame, and God, I like it. My mind has changed, my body's frame, and God, I like it. My heart's aflame, my body's strained, and God, I like it. I like it. Heart's aflame, my body's changed, and God, I like it. It may seem strange, another way to get to know you, and I like it. Like howling forever, oh, like howling forever, oh. I like it. I like it. You asked to walk me home, but I had to carry you. You pushed me in. Now my feet can't touch the bottom of you. You couldn't have. You couldn't have stuck your tongue down the throat of somebody who loves you more. So I will wait for the next time you want me, like a dog with a bird at your door. I like it. Howling forever. We hate tears in heaven, but it's sad that his baby died. We thought about John Lennon until I cried. Then went to bed, upset. Now I am dreaming and you're singing at my birthday, and I've never seen you smiling so big. It's nautical themed and there's something I'm supposed to say, but can't for the life of me remember what it is. And if I could give you the moon, I would give you the moon. You are sick and you're married and you might be dying, but you're holding me like water in your hand. When you saw the dead little bird, you started crying, but you know the killer doesn't understand.
Oh, oh, thank you, Josh. Oh, oh, sorry. I was just mesmerized. Very beautiful piece. Oh, okay. We're coming towards the end of the show, y'all. See? This is why we need more people signing up. Okay? So, before we get into the last piece, I need to drop this mic right here and say that we, at the Freefalling Monthly, we like to be able to pay our artists, but we can't do it alone. And if you're wondering, I'd love to help, I don't know how. Well, we are on a little thing called Patreon. And if you're interested, you could join our Patreon and, help keep this festival alive and these artists paid by your beautiful and well appreciated donations, okay? And if you're thinking, oh man, I don't think I'm ready to commit to this Patreon thing. I just want to maybe do a one-time thing. Well, we have another option for you. If Patreon's too much, then you could, e-transfer us some shmoney, tip, if you would like to call it that, a little tip. You could e-transfer a little tip at our email address, freefallingmonthly@gmail.com. So you got two options. See, we're giving you options here. Okay? You could either be a long-term or short-term Patreon member, or you could e-transfer us a tip. Either way, we're going to take your money and put it to good use, keep these artists paid, keep this festival going. As much as we like to just present out of the goodness of our hearts to kind of keep our artists alive and satisfied, money's good too. So you have Patreon, and we are now accepting e-transfers for those who want to be a one-time little supporter. Give us a little tip. We are your strippers. We will dance for that cash, okay? Every Friday Last Friday of the month, we here, baby, doing a little jig for y'all. So, make it rain. So, we are at our last piece of the night. This piece is my piece. So I'm just letting people know that I'm about to go on if they wanted to tune in, support, if you would say. So it's my piece called, my pronouns are he, him. Anton May. Oh my gosh, it's so weird. It's like talking in third person. So our last piece of the night will be by Anton May, me. Pronouns he, him. And the piece is called See When You Look at Me. Now, trigger warning, content warning, I don't know. Whatever word you want to put on it, there's a warning that there is some partial nudity. Now, I know y'all getting excited. No, you will not see no ding-dong, ding-a-ling-a-ling. You won't see no booty, booty, booty. But there is some nudity. Also, there are some curse words. So if you got kids watching, tuning in, you might want to press pause or put on some Baby Shark or something. Because there's some cursing. Not a lot, but there's some curse words. And bloody hell, this is so weird. It's like, okay. Now, this piece, See When You Look at Me, is one queer Black man, one question, and the answer through his eyes. This is See When You Look at Me. Jesus Christ. What do you see? See when you look at me? As I look at myself in the mirror, my image flicked in my eyes, I wonder, what do you see? See when you look at me? Does my blackness offend you? My melanin too much to comprehend? How is he so beautiful? I wear history on my skin. The power of my ancestry flows through my veins, a superhuman, with emphasis on the human. Human, super, describing my character. I am a superhuman. But my strength is genetic, my muscles inherited from my father's father's father and my mother's 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 mother, and so on. I take on the weight of their oppression on my shoulders. I march on to the beat of my djembe heart, and I stand tall and strong, rooted and grounded in the richness of my culture. Their scars become my scars, and our scars tell a story. Our scars reveal the struggle, and the struggle is real and ever present. All my life I've had to fight to be seen. So I wonder, what do you see? See when you look at me. Shea butter, coconut oil, cocoa butter king, a black royalty stood before you. My kinky crown sitting pretty, but you don't bow down, bitches. You want me to tilt my crown. Hell to the na-na. I nay-nay on my haters. You picked the right one today. I wake up flawless. I stay woke, so sit down and be humble. There's complexity in complexions, but I shine bright like a diamond. What are you afraid of? What do you hate about me? Black excellence is a title earned. Does my success intimidate you? My black boy magic isn't literal. Mind your business. I refuse to be your doll to pin your insecurities into. I am voodoo, boo. Don't come for me unless I send for you. So what do you see? See when you look at me. That was that! Yay! That was See When You Look at Me by me. Ooh. So yes, as we are coming towards the end of the presentations of the show, I would like to do another little microphone drop with some information with for y'all. Oh my gosh, I'm choking on my saliva. So here at the Freefalling Monthly, we are supporting or highlighting, spreading the word about the Native Women's Shelter of Montreal. This shelter was incorporated in 1987, and it is the only women's shelter in Montreal that provides services exclusively to First Nations, Inuit, and Métis women and their children. We are trying our best to support them during this time. COVID, especially the hate that has been targeted towards the Indigenous communities in Canada. We feel that it's very important that we support this shelter. If you would like to support, we have provided the link. Please, if you don't want to help us artists because, you know, we're going to get booked some point, please, do your best or spread the word about the shelter and try and support as much as you can. And on that note, I would like to remind you all that we are privileged enough to be in this space in Montreal as artists to be able to share our work in theaters or as you are now seeing on the screen. But we have to remember that even though we are tuning in from our homes and we're not in the theater, that we still are watching and present on stolen land. Yes, it's not borrowed. It is stolen land. The Kanien'kehá, Montreal, Tio'tia, Quebec, is stolen land that we now in these times are occupying, and we have to remember the history of this land. We have to respect those who own this land before us, and it's important to acknowledge that. Yes, and we do this to just to remind ourselves of the settler privilege that we have. Yes, I'm Black, but I have settler privilege because I'm here on stolen land. I don't have to worry about, you know, somebody trying to take it from me, which is what happened, sadly, to the generations of Indigenous people. And let's not forget the genocide of the people that happened here and also globally. So we have to remind ourselves to check our privilege. Yes, I do too have to check my privilege as a Black man. We have to check our privilege and check ourselves and remind ourselves of that fact. So yes, just a reminder that we will be having our roundtable discussion after the credits. So yeah. And also, if you're in North America, you can inform yourself of the land and the tribes of the people and the spaces that you are occupying. We've posted the link where you can learn more about the original caretakers of the land where you live. So let's get into the credits. While the credits are rolling, you can go ahead and grab a snack. Come right back because it's going to be the roundtable discussion. Here we go. Credits! Yay! Yay! We did it! We did it! We did it! Yay! That was the, we did it! Do. Welcome to the first ever roundtable discussion of the Freefalling Monthly.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Wow! Congrats, everyone. That was really great. Really great. Okay, enough. Let's introduce ourselves and our pieces. So I guess I'll start. So hi, my name is Anton May, pronouns he, him, and my piece was "See When You Look at Me."
Oh, we're doing individual ones. Okay.
Yes,
cool.
just your name and your piece and your pronouns.
I'm gonna fix my name because like we made this joke when we were doing this in dress rehearsal, like we'll do different names. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put my own name, and now that I have to introduce myself, Jeroen is sticking to it a little bit. He just put his first name. Anyways, I'm Josh. I did the second last one. It's called Red Pool, and it's a privilege to be here amongst these fine fellows.
It is also a privilege for me to be amongst these fine people. My name is Monica Hamburg, she, her, and my piece was Ella Email.
And my name is Jeroen, and I presented FINA.
Party. So yes, that's one step done. Bloody hell. I didn't think this through because I'm like also participate in, but also participate is really weird.
I don't think thinking things through is part of the deal with free falling. I mean, it takes a lot of thinking, but also a lot of just let it rip. So
yeah. So I guess yeah, the list of what we're supposed to be doing is to talk about our process for our piece, or however you want to interpret that question, your process as an artist when you're creating your pieces, or specifically for this piece, if you would like to share your process. The floor is y'all's. I'm gonna go last. So.
He's done a lot of talking.
Yeah, so everyone wants to dive in.
Give yourself a break.
Yeah, exactly. Lovely job hosting, Anton, by the way.
Yeah, and your piece. Your piece was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God, the editing is really great.
Oh gosh.
What's your process, Anton?
So a lot of my work, or at least because now with COVID and whatnot, I'm trying to get into the self kind of making your own pieces, doing your own art, and not waiting for somebody to like give you an audition and get a job. And I've noticed that in my writing and the topics that I kind of want to cover are mostly centered around Black identity, and also my identity in queer spaces as a Black queer man and the struggles that come with it, and also kind of like flipping that, and instead of talking about all the negatives, focus on the positives and kind of self-love and whatnot. For this specific piece, this, I guess I would say this poem has been in the making since last year. Amidst all the Black Lives Matter things, like I wanted to like create something to kind of talk about it, kind of like my way of processing all of that stuff. But I never got a chance to sit down and do anything about it. But yeah, I finally put this together. It was actually supposed to be longer, but I cut the ending because I didn't know how to incorporate it into this specific piece. But hey, maybe another Free Falling, I might present the ending. But yeah, so that was kind of the thought process behind the poem itself. For the editing and the visual, I have no idea. I guess if I'm gonna talk about it in a way, the images that you saw were kind of like places where the poem kind of came to be. So I do a lot of my creating in the shower, when I'm sitting on my bed lotioning up, things come to me. When I'm in the metro, things come to me. Usually I hope my family isn't tuning in, but usually I am a little, and the things just come to me. Yeah, and especially with the curfew and whatnot, with all the police presence in the metros at night, because I work evenings, that's another thing that kind of like triggers things. So those images that you saw are basically the thought process and how the poem came to be. And also I wanted to be vulnerable, and there's nothing more vulnerable than being naked. So that's why I was naked, because yeah, I wanted this piece to kind of talk about like what people might see and how I shouldn't be really, you shouldn't be scared of me because I'm human and vulnerable just like you. So that's my process. A lot of talking, but hey, moving on to the next.
It was beautiful. I mean, I think it's really cool that naturally the images where you came up with these, with the poetry, like where you're getting your inspiration, that there was some sort of connection between those spaces, because the video was like the poem was very beautiful and powerful, but certainly, you know, in this digital realm, what you added with the editing definitely supported it. And like something about those cops, like I think it was like the next thing you saw, so it was like very like, oh god.
Yeah, I had to be in that video because I was literally getting ready to jump on the metro, and I'm like, shit, this is gonna be great. But yeah, thank you. Yeah. Somebody, please, else. I'm getting all nervous now. Oh, what the heck?
Oh, there's a question. Like I wrote it as I was. No. Monica.
This is your turn, Monica.
Okay, Monica. I didn't write this. Monica, you created so many pieces for Freefalling Monthly. Do you create these pieces specifically for Free Falling, or do you have like a back pocket full of shows and you pick one each month? No, I legit do use the Free Falling as a reason to create, as a motivation. I don't actually. Sometimes I'll have an idea before I say, "Can I, be on the show?" But sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's so. It's helping me a lot because I want to create, but if I don't have deadlines, then I can just not do it. So so that's the answer.
Party.
Yeah, and so talk about your process. I mean, like I love the world of emails as much as everyone. In the fact that I hate them because it's so like
useless meetings.
Yeah, and I love
I mean, okay, so obviously I'm like super frustrated sometimes with my email communication, and like, but I'm like, in one way I'm like, why don't people read an email before they respond? And that's like a fury, but then also I'm like so out of control upset about it. Like my frustration is so completely horror film revenge woman when like just if someone responds like wrongly to an email, and then I'm like, my god, why do I get so pissed off? So like it's very disproportionate. So I also understand that I'm crazy, but my process for this one was that I'm like very frustrated with email and some of the communication, and then I was trying to figure out how to make it so that it wasn't like, I mean, it's linear, but so that it wasn't like just me being pissed off by email, like, because that's not an interesting story. And and I have limited skills in terms of the visual stuff because I'm not an animator, and I can't draw and I can't do a lot of those kind of things. And I didn't really want to be in front of the camera all the time. So yeah, so the process was trying to figure out how to tell this. And there was this whole long period of me watching a lot of Skillshare videos about stop motion animation as though that was something I was going to do, because in my delusional world, it was something I would have the patience to do. So there was like hours of me learning about stop motion and then going, no, I can't do this. I can't do this because I will kill everyone. So then I decided, okay, I'll try something, you know, with the limited skills I have and the tools I have, and try to make it a little different than the frustration about phones that I did. And then, yeah, and that was sort of.
Well, how did you do? Was that like screen record or?
No, so it's Canva, like the thing you use to make graphics, like just, yeah. And then it's like not frame by frame, but each thing is a frame, right? Each thing is a whatever, JPEG or whatever, a PNG.
Oh.
So yeah.
So it's still animation.
Fancy PowerPoint.
But yeah, that's really what it is. It is fancy PowerPoint. And so, yeah, so that's about what I can do, is like take other things and then, yeah. So I have to work with that. And then obviously I had Jay McCullough. You did get his name on the third try. And that is exactly how long it took me to get his name, and I'm dating him. So don't worry. That is like, it's completely reasonable. The Jay McCullough and Peter Jaradomsky, I was like, when I finally figured out what I was going to do, I was like, oh, great. I have people that I like that will do this with me. So I thought they did a great job with the voice stuff, like actually way better than I even expected, because it really came to life with the frustration and the like, just, you know, that kind of like, all right, well, let's do this, and no, just send me that, and you're like, oh my fucking god, what, you know? So yeah, so I was really happy with what they did with that. So that's the preface.
Very cool.
I think some more. Oh, there we go. Thank you for doing my job for me. Why did you choose to create these pieces pre-recorded instead of live streamed? How could they have been different if you presented them live? And this targeted to specific people, so y'all can go ahead and dive into that.
Could I have done it live? I could have done it live. It just would have been a lot different. And for me, there are two elements in there. So one thing was the making the clay masks. I've been wanting for a while to do an experiment with clay and with masks and just trying out stuff. But the mask itself also represents something to me in my personal life and in my mental well-being, where I see a lot of myself where I hide behind masks. And I have this ritual where in the morning I record myself while walking from the metro to work. And there was one recording and where I spoke about masks and the clown, and where you see the clown, and where I wanted to speak about hearts. And that is the actual recording that I used for this presentation. And bringing those two together wouldn't have worked in a live setting. Yeah, so for this one, I really chose to do pre-recorded, so I could kind of just jumble it around and just have a sense of it and just play with it.
Because like sometimes when it's like pre-recorded, it gives you that freedom to like, you know, change the order, and also like there's just less stress of like, oh crap, I wanted to do this at this point. It's like you can just have the freedom to like do the voice. Great. Let me film some stuff. Great. Now I can really like, you know, sew it in where how I envisioned it, which you can't really do with a live performance. But you know, you can always find ways to make it work, I feel. But
yeah,
I
and
really,
also within the construct of Freefalling Monthly, we only have 5 minutes.
Right.
And it's not a lot of time. And actually, the recording that I used was the first and only recording I did making a clay mask on my face.
One take.
And the original was 15 or 20 minutes long, so I had to whittle it down.
Mhm.
And I don't want to restrain myself or constrain myself and have to work with 5 minutes. Well, I just want to play around and figure out. And you can actually see my mimicry, that there is a bit of play, and there's also a change in gestures. And if you have to rush that, you don't get that natural feeling of
Exactly.
okay, I'm discovering things here, and I'm seeing new things, and yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why I was like cracking up at the end when you were like just posing.
Oh, I was cracking up myself too.
It was very cool. It was like
I don't know if that was intended, but I couldn't hold it in. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gold.
It was like you put on another mask underneath the mask in that moment. Because like the whole time you're being very like straightforward and like you're just like trying to figure this shit out, and then like somehow you're like, oh, now I'm like in character, and this like other being came. It was very cool because like it was just in the eyes at that point, and I guess the body too, but it was a cool way to end that piece.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Also with the rolling of the clay in the beginning, everything is very paced and very fast, and you just gotta try to cover it up. And when I start working on the mouth, just start turning the clay, and then it stops. It goes slower, and there's like I'm measuring this out, I'm feeling this, and then adding it. Even when I put the bottom of the mouth, it's the adjustment of no, it needs to be here, exactly here, and then, roll some more and put it there, and then the birth of the new character. And I guess I felt safe behind the mask, and that's where the whole posture changed.
Cool.
Cool. And you, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question of liveness and recordedness for mine, and the way it came together. Because, like, you know, I was doing free falling pretty regularly when we were doing it live, and this is my first digital attempt, and that's because like the sort of the process that I came up with for making free falling pieces like depends on a lot of like I'll just do it on the day kind of things. Like I figure out like the bases that I'm gonna hit and the gestures that are gonna like support the like piece. Because a lot of the stuff that I do is just like poetry and movement. And so the very idea of like editing, like I edit self-tapes and like I've edited a film before, but like it was like a little film that I made for a theater piece. So like, yeah, and also with the timing of everything, it was like we got the song done with a shout out to Jesse Manu from Other Families who did the song, the actual music. Like I wrote the sort of, it's actually 2 covers. Yeah, check us out, otherfamilies.com. We do music, we do all kinds of crazy things, video games and shit, but not video games like you think. Anyways, so what was I saying? Right, yeah. So Jesse, so I like kind of came up with these 2 covers. Those are cover songs, and Jesse brought it to life with his amazing musical talent. And so by the time that was done, I had some of the choreography, but I basically, you know, I had to find a lot of it on its feet still, and that's part of my process. So I was really, really, really grateful when I was filming that I got a take that I was like, I could just use this take.
Right.
And so that's cool for me too, because this is like my first time really making a digital piece, and like I'm a theater artist. Like the reason I haven't been doing it is because I'm just like, like I want to just do plays. Like I don't care about these movies. So yeah, I liked kind of with the camera was interesting. It's like there was times when it would like get out of focus and you could tell I was lip syncing and all that shit. But I kind of liked that it was just like this one moment of me moving through what I understood about that story at that time. And yeah, and like I don't know, I guess, so could I do it live? Absolutely, because it would be a full wasted performance. It wouldn't just be a wasted. You would see my lower half, which would be great. But I like that you couldn't. Like, it was a cool experiment. And there's one other thing I wanted to say. Oh, just the idea. It was a good chance for me working with the camera because I remember seeing this dance piece that probably Anton you would have seen, like Dark Side of the Moon, Dance Side of the Moon. Yeah, like a big piece for Fringe that year for Montreal Theatre. You know, Helen Simard, Maxine Segalowitz. Shout out to those two. And I just remember there's like this moment where like Maxine, like it's like this really beautiful dance, like it's a true dance, and she's dancing to Pink Floyd. And I just remember she just made this face. I can't even remember what the face was. I just remember her being like, all of a sudden the whole dance expression was just in her face. And I was like, oh, you can fucking do that. Like you can move. Like if you're doing a dance piece, you can just act for a bit, and it still counts. And if you're doing a piece that's mostly acting, you just do a bit of a dance, right? And so it was cool, like for the first half having a tighter frame, because then I didn't have the choreography, so I was just like, I'll just live in the moment. I'll just like be like, what is this moment as an actor? And so it was kind of nice to flirt between like film acting, I guess, and like dance stuff. It was fun to do the piece. I'm glad I finally made something for the internet.
I like that. And also like a lot of people don't realize, because even though all of these different art forms are like separated by genre, like most dancers take acting classes to help with their performance, and actors take movement classes to help them get in their bodies. Everything is kind of linked in. There's an open question. Do you feel like you're making a short film or a theater piece or a performance short or what? Can you even categorize these things? Who wants to dive in to that one?
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I mean,
I don't like categories.
Okay.
It's whatever you want. It's
Exactly.
art. It's expression. I don't see that it adds anything to put a category in it. Just do what you feel like you need to bring out, and believe in it, and do it, and just push it and go with it. And just go crazy, go nuts, and don't let yourself be constrained about by categories or how things need to be or what the conventions are. I just love kicking conventions. I just
respect that.
I just do what I believe is right, and people can have their opinions about it, and if they don't like it, that's their opinion. If I think it's right and I want to do it, just do it.
I think there was a line in Anton's piece about fucking bitches or something. You said something.
Yeah. I said, I don't know what I said.
It was something about your crown and how they weren't bowing down, and you just like tilted them or something.
Royalty, but they won't bow down, bitches. Yeah.
I was like, oh, when that line, that was sick.
I mean, it's kind of hard. This question is a tricky one, because depending on how you want to approach your piece, it can be all of the above, right? And also depending on the type of artist you are. Some people are like really well-rounded artists, so for them it's whatever. Some people are like getting into new things. So I guess for me, I wanted to try something a bit more experimental in terms of like the visual, instead of being an actor in front of a camera presenting a poem or a monologue. I wanted to try something a little different. So I guess for me, it felt more like of a performance short, using the vernacular or the vocabulary that is in the question. That's how it felt to me. But only because of the constraints of the Freefalling digital editions and how we have to present it. That's how it felt to me. But like again, like Jeroen said, like it's whatever. Like it's just art that I just wanted to put together. And I just didn't want it to just be my voice. I wanted you to have something to look at as well. So I guess it could be considered as like a performance or something.
Well, you do yourself short if you're just calling it a short film.
Yeah.
You made an original Anton piece.
Yeah. Now it's forever online.
I could see Monica's on YouTube though. Like, I see that populating. I mean, all of us technically go on YouTube, but like, I see maybe yours as like it's got a bit of a meme vibe to it.
Cool. If only. I'm always hoping for that. Yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah, I am specifically like thinking in terms of like a video medium or you know, as opposed to like a theater piece, but that's just because that's what I gravitate to more. Yeah, like for the most part. I mean, I've been a theater actor and a film actor and stuff with varying degrees of success, but but yeah, no, I probably think more than the others of you that it's like mine is more of like a piece, right? Like a recorded piece.
Right.
Yeah. I guess for me, like because I actually did think this question to myself when I finished. I was like, what is this? What did I make exactly? There are certainly parts of the movement and, you know, the performance that I was doing that I envisioned being seen more. Like I finished the take and I was like, okay, you can't see my hands at the end or whatever, right? And then but it kind of worked. You know, I of course found some logic and I was like, oh, that works. Even though it wasn't what I originally intended. So I did kind of think like, is this like archival footage of a performance for another time when I want to do it? And I don't like, yes, it is, but that, you know, you could say that about anything. Like, I guess you wouldn't say that about a film because you'd be like, this is my done film. It's not archival. It's just like my done thing. Like, I would say like Red Moon, my piece is like, I guess ultimately made for the stage. And I put it through a certain lens so I could perform. So I don't know what I would call it. I mean, I could make it I could probably, you know, work with what I have and make it more of a full thing that's like a filmed dance. But even that is kind of, I don't know, like I've seen people make these film dance things and they're cool, but it feels like they are being like, this is what the dance would have looked like.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's not what they're saying. Like they're trying to.
Of course, but yeah.
And you do get it. So I don't know what to call it. I'm more of the camp of just like whatever. Nothing has a name. Everything has a name.
Right.
It's all just names. Like I certainly did work with the camera angle. So I feel like some of the stuff I did, I couldn't have done that way if it wasn't for the camera. So it's like a digital piece of theater, which doesn't make sense. Because when I think digital piece of theater, I think like you're in a theater and there's like digital stuff around you.
Did it make you make different choices?
Yeah, I was making choices for the camera, and I had to, and yeah. So I don't know, but it's certainly like one part of something that could be a more full thing in as a piece of theater, because I don't know how to think about it like a film.
Right.
I just don't have the capacity.
There was another ish. There we go. They reading my mind. So I guess I have to read it out. People are creating.
I can read it, or someone else can.
I'm like.
People are creating in small spaces these days, kitchenettes, living rooms, and bedrooms. Do you feel these special constrictions challenging and frustrating, or more like welcome boundaries for creation?
I'll start if you want me to, if it's okay.
Go.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that like I'm not necessarily looking on the positive and being like, oh, I was just, thank goodness we have this, you know? I'm so happy to be bound to like my apartment 24/7. But within that, it's, for me, it is nice to try to get out of my space being the set. So for me, it's like, okay, if I create like an animation or something else that's visual that I can attach my voice to or whatever, then that to me feels like, okay, you don't have to stare at my sparsely furnished apartment and pretend that it's a castle or whatever it is, you know, and then it maybe doesn't look so pandemic-y, you know, like I would hate to look back on my pieces and be like, well, that's for sure something filmed when you were stuck at home, you know, like, so that's what I'm really trying to get out of, is like have like scenarios or things that look like other things other than my room.
Cool. Mine was kind of based on like, I mean, like I put in for self tapes all the time, right? So I'm just like I'm set up for that, and I also happen to have some stage lights, so I don't know. It's just like I am thinking of it like another word I could have used to describe it was like it's like a self tape for my piece of theater. It's like if I was sending it into like the Tarragon or like, you know, whatever, some company being like, hey, like, do you want to put this on? So I am kind of set up for that. And I don't know, I'm fine with it. Like, yeah, I mean, I just can't even imagine us getting together right now. So it's just like, I have an idea and I need to express it. And so it goes through this container. And that's always how I've worked. I'm usually like, pretty like, what do I have available for me as opposed to like seeing what I need to get. I'm like, how do I express this thing through what I have? But if I can't do a play on a stage soon, I'm gonna go fucking crazy. Can we get that vaccine? Shout out to the vaccine and whatever order is coming our way or not coming our way.
Shout out.
We'd love to do a play soon. I'm not out there.
Put it into the universe. Put it in. I hate these constrictions. I hate them all. They're super challenging. I hate it. You know, but you like sometimes you just have to get creative and make it work, which is what I had to do. I have lots of roommates and they are extremely loud. So even just doing a simple self-tape can take hours because there's always noise. And my room is big, but then I have to move things around so I can get the takes. Yeah, it's been very, very challenging to create in my house, and especially with the weather not being the best. Now it's getting better, so I wish I had filmed my stuff last week. I could have taken advantage of outdoors in the sun and filmed some things outside, but no, it was not the case because the deadline. But yeah, it's hard, but it's also I also enjoy the challenge because again, it's working that creative thing inside of me to just, you know, find ways to make the space come alive or to bring something just you know, just to like you said, Monica, like instead of people like pretending like this is a castle or whatever in my room, like, you know, it's like just finding ways of how I can like make the limited space that I have into something that works for the piece itself. But yeah, I hate it. I need studio space. I need proper lights. My shitty ring light barely lighting me right now. I need better lights. Bigger space. I need natural light because I'm in a basement. But yeah, that will come. I'm patient. Vaccine, let's go.
Jeroen, do you feel any way about the constrictions?
Just gotta work with it. Makes you more creative.
Right. There it is.
Don't try to do things that don't fit within the concept or don't fit within the constrictions. Just find ways around it. You know, I have this and that. These are my tools. And what can I do with it?
Exactly.
And how can I make it interesting?
Yeah, and I think in a way, like, Freefalling does that already, right? It's like I wouldn't necessarily make a piece of like digital theater art because I can't work on a stage right now if Freefalling wasn't available. And I was like, okay. I mean, for me, like I was thinking like, I should like, you know, because you feel like these days you could there's almost like no excuse if you're a writer or a creator to not be doing something, because you could have a TikTok and you could have a fucking whatever, like if you can make it work for yourself. So I've been like, how do I express myself online? And it's taking me this, like I was supposed to be doing it all winter and it took me this long till March to be like, okay, fuck, I just have to sign up for Freefalling and make myself make something, because otherwise all these like half ideas are never going to come through. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's always the case that like the space or the constraints call you to make something, and it's shaped by that. So yeah. And I mean, I'm really glad that I did it. I'm glad I have something as opposed to nothing. And along
I
with
guess-
freefalling.
I guess the tricky part with this digital platform is that as a performer, you don't have live feedback from your audience.
Right.
And personally, I always, in my performances, in my acting, I always get feedback from the audience, and I respond to it. So it becomes a conversation between the stage and the hall. And now by missing it, you have to kind of find a different way of reaching your audience, because the same thing is for them too, that if they're reacting to what they're seeing and they see that on stage people are reacting to what they're doing, they also feel connected. So now you have to find a whole different way of connecting yourself within the audience. How are you going to draw them in? How are you going to let them know that, yes, you are there. I see you. I'm doing this for you. And I want you to be engaged.
Yeah.
I think there's another question, unless you wanted to say something, Josh.
I was going to say, just look right down the pipe, which just means like look in the camera and be like, hello, I'm acting for you.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, there was another question. I think it was about pandemic art.
Yes. Thank you, whoever's doing that.
Yeah.
We love you. We appreciate you.
Little spirit in the digiverse.
Yes. Do you feel like you're making pandemic art, or would you be making this kind of stuff anyway?
Well, I'll go. I think no matter what, you respond to your environment. Like we're all like vibrating people on this planet that's connected through gravity and all that shit, right? So like we all feel this. So no matter what, you like, yes, because it's like literally I'm a pandemic artist. We're all pandemic artists because we're artists living in this pandemic. But I would definitely like this piece. The content of this piece is not the first time I've explored this kind of content, and I would have made it the way I made it without the camera if it wasn't for the pandemic.
Right.
So like, who knows if I would have come back to this subject matter in this way at this time, because I've already kind of touched on it with other work, and maybe the reason I did come back to it is something with the pandemic, but
yeah.
Otherwise, yes, I would just be doing this regardless of the situation. It would just be in front of people, which would be awesome.
More spacious. I've seen your previous works, and you fill the room. The stage can be empty, just Josh in there, and he's flying around and twirling and singing and
flying around,
chanting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Empty stage, just Josh. Yeah. Go. That's the whole joke, the whole thing. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate
You'll fill it up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing this stuff because I feel like it wouldn't be as staged per se, because most of my pieces are poems anyway, so I would be performing them at open mics, but I wouldn't be performing it on a scale of what I'm presenting here. I don't want to call it pandemic art because triggered. It's art. Because after pandemic, it's still going to be art. It was just done during the pandemic because, like you said, Josh, we're all in the pandemic. But I personally do not think that I would be doing this kind of stuff if it wasn't a pandemic, at least to this scale or degree. Because I mean, I'm sure I would be doing art, maybe writing short plays and putting them on, but I wouldn't be doing this kind of art. I'm just grateful that for the Freefalling, so that I have a medium to kind of present these poems that I've been sitting on for years that are just sitting in my notes on my phone, like a way to just get them out there, seeming as there's no open mics and there's nowhere I can present it other than here for now. But that being said, I might be doing this kind of stuff after the pandemic, because now I'm like, hey, I can do it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I can't really call this pandemic art. The pandemic has given us a challenge to explore these elements and these facets, but I can't say that I'm personally making this for the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I got very into performing live for a while, because I was doing stand up. And so that became like, with something like that, it's almost like an obsession, because to get better at it, you have to be so obsessive and constantly do it. So I kind of neglected sometimes. I did a few things that were other forms, but I don't think I was as focused on other forms that weren't like live comedy. So the fact that we're, in the situation we're in has made me find another outlet. So that's been really interesting and exciting for me to be able to be like, okay, how do I make comedy, and in a way that isn't, necessarily just the Zoom shows or I am doing my own show, but like, what else, right? How else do I do it that's creative and, yeah. So
I think the pandemic, especially for like theater artists or live performers, it did open up some interesting questions, because people who want to make stuff, and then it's like, do we call it theater? And I guess that's why they're asking us these questions. It's like, because it makes you focus on like, what is theater, what is live, all that stuff. Like for stand-up comic, it's like, how can you do stand-up comedy without the laughs? Like it doesn't make sense. Like
and we're doing it, right? Because there's lots of like online shows and stuff, and it's and it's been lovely in a lot of ways, but it also is like totally different. It is totally different. The energy is different. Everything about it is like, it's not the same medium, like at all. And so, yeah, so I don't feel as motivated to create online stand-up, like that seems like if I was to like do a recorded set, like I think we would all want to blow our brains out, so like that's like definitely not a thing I'm aiming for. So then, yeah, the alternate is like, well, how do I, within these constraints, make something that's like, that I feel, good about, and that excites me in terms of expressing myself as an artist. So,
right.
Very important.
Yeah, that's true.
Very important to do that.
I thought this is a sweet spot to kind of like round up this round table discussion. Unless anybody has any last words.
Any final words?
Any words before we wrap this up?
We're all gonna get killed after this? Is that what happened?
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
Oh, we love you.
Getting up early in the morning, doing some more work in Space B freestanding room.
Amazing.
Opening up April 1st. Members are welcome.
First opening. That's very exciting.
It is exciting. It'll be really fun.
Well, I just want to say it was so great to do this again. Loved all your work. Love Freefalling. Always a privilege to be a part of this crew. So can't wait for the next one.
Same. Thank you for having me, and
thank y'all for sharing.
See you on the next one.
Yeah.
Until next time. Thank you to the viewers who stuck around. I don't know if there's anybody, but thank you if you did. All the works, I'm not sure, but all the pieces will be available if you want to rewatch it and take notes and dive in, dissect. They will be available on the YouTube page, the Freefalling YouTube page. So yeah, if you want to check in, and also the roundtable discussion, I believe will also be available if people want to look back and if you couldn't stick around, you're probably not here right now, but hey, it's going to be available. So yeah,
we'll know later.
Yeah,
thank you, artists. Thank you, Freefalling. We'll be back next month, the last Friday. Please sign up. Looking forward to your work. Good night, y'all.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you, Anton. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.